Hey everybody, how's it going today? We made it to yet another Wednesday. I hope everyone had a great week. Let me go ahead and get everything situated. So I'm excited. John, good to see you. How's it going, my friend? So we are in part 6 of painting Katarina. So I think that's pretty exciting. As you see, we've gotten pretty far with her, which I'm very happy about. And we got a lot going on today. It's going to be, really exciting, Let me make sure that we are still live. Let's see. Okay, so right now, hey Tone, how's it going? What's up, my friend? Good to see ya. Just want to make sure that the sound quality is good. Ken! We have Ken from Badger, the head of Badgers here, to answer questions. Just stop by, say hello. So that's so cool. How great is that? What an honor, Ken. Wendy, how's it going? So good to see you. So far we have a really nice crowd going today. So I'm very excited. John is here. And so we're all Badger people. Ken, we're all painting with Badger, and we just love your product, and we just are advocates for Badger, everything Badger. So Mike, how's it going? Mike S, how's it going? So very exciting. So as you can see, we are pretty far with this painting of Katarina, and I'm very excited about it. And it's just really nice when we get to the point where we start getting really into it. Okay. I will definitely pretend you're not there, Ken. And so let's go ahead. Now I have 2 of my Extreme Patriot arrows fired up. I have this with my light mixture and this one with my medium mixture. Both have the regular triggers in there, so that's really cool. So as you know, when I start, I always go ahead and start with the light mixture when I want to get reacclimated with a painting, the first time that I come back into it, And let's go ahead and just get reacclimated with the painting, almost like an oil painter sort of re-wets the surface. That's what I like to do. And as you can see, you get this really tight detail here. The control is really what I love about this brush here. Now here you have a very light, that's what the light mixture is. So I'm going to increase my distance and just pull back on that airbrush just slightly. As you can see, I can get the slightest variation of tone there, which is really great. Oh, very cool. So Ken does mostly modeling and figure basing at trade shows. That's very cool, very exciting. And that's a large market for Badger, I hear. And so we're just going to continue moving around here. Now what we want to do is, Brad, good to see you. Brad is currently a student of mine, as is Wendy, which is very exciting to have you guys here. So what we want to do is make sure everything sort of turns. Everything has that feeling of 3 dimensions. And as you can see, I can get the slightest hairs with this. Just like, has no equal as far as the detail that you're able to get with this airbrush. Just unbelievable. There we go. And Ken says he knows which end of the paint comes out of. That's half the battle going back to not being here. Well, I appreciate you being here, Ken. That's a really great honor. So, very cool. So, right now we want to go ahead and work on the cast shadow of her nose. And I'm going to start it with the medium mixture, as you can see. Actually, this is the light mixture. I'm going to start with the light mixture. And I'm just going to model the form over here. Just pull that down. Now, when I want to go lighter, what I could do is actually increase the distance of my airbrush. So if you will notice, like right here, let me just fix the, okay, see that really great angle? So if I want to be a little bit darker and more detailed, you'll notice that I'm really close to the surface. However, if I want to get a light fade, watch how my airbrush gets further and further away from the surface. So basically you're painting in 3 dimensions, as I always say. You always want to paint in 3 dimensions. And let's go ahead and get our freehand shield. And what we're going to do is we're just going to protect this edge, but I want to make sure that her cheekbone or zygomatic arch is really being represented here, because that really gives volume to her, as you can see. Gives a lot of volume. And go back to this angle. Oh, it must be your connection, Wendy. So I really hope that, you know, that happens if you have a wireless network, Wendy. But, so I'm so sorry about that. A lot of times it might be, you know, just to close out YouTube and then come back in. That's a good way to fix it. Okay, so as you can see, you know, now we're going to go ahead and come back with a little darker. So I have this Extreme Patriot Arrow. It has the medium mixture in. It's a little bit darker, right between the light mixture and the dark mixture. And just watch as we just go ahead and just deepen this shadow, this cast shadow of the nose onto her fulcrum. And then we'll deepen this shadow right here. I like having 2 airbrushes going at the same time, and so that really really saves time, and I could think a lot quicker, especially in the later stages, to have 2 airbrushes going, one with a light mixture, a medium mixture, or maybe one with a medium and a dark mixture. And that just really helps me to kind of speed things up a little bit, and that's what you want to do. Just speed it up just a little bit, like that. And with that medium mixture, I can deepen those darks. And then let's come back here. Now, same thing is that, you know, you see if I go close, I could really get dark and hard edges. But as I increase my distance, things soften up and also get considerably lighter. So also what you want to do is you also want to go ahead and work on sort of the 3 dimensions of her lip. Even though our upper lip is mostly in shadow, we can still go ahead and maybe create some depth by having some variation of tone here. As you see that. There we go. And let's do the same on this side, but it's much lighter. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have a little more distance, and that's the same variation of value, but it's a lot more subtle as you increase the distance. So Wendy's handing out cake, I see. That's funny. Okay, so now that we have that, we have the medium mixture in here. Let's see if we can darken the inside of her mouth here. We just want to create a little more volume. There we go. That would be like a cakeogram or something like that, Wendy. That's funny. Okay, so now what we can do is we can start doing some of the exciting things, which is just adding in a little bit of the white pastel. We're not going to go too crazy, but what we're going to do is we're going to create a little bit of volume, especially in her eye here. And when you see this, it's really going to be exciting. Things are just going to pop out. It's when all the hard work just comes together. So let's see if we could just start that right here. There we go. And let me put on the gloves for this. This is glove territory, definitely. So now what we do is we're really going to pull out and so Ken said, and Wendy says, looks great, but has absolutely no calories. Ken says, you can airbrush me one with that new airbrush. That's pretty funny. So basically what we're doing right now is we are just going to lightly put in some of those lighter values that we set up, which is really good because it's all, you know, with the light mixture, the medium mixture, it's all setting up, as you guys know, guys and girls know. So now we have this kind of really beautiful specular highlight right here. So I'm going to use the white pastel and I'm going to really hit that really strong. So you see how that sort of pops out just with those just couple of strokes here. Really just bringing Katarina to life, huh? Now let's do the same. Willie, good to see you. How's it going, my friend? And Todd, good to see you. So the group is slowly filing in, which is great. So it's always good to have you here. I look forward to seeing you guys every Wednesday night. And let's see. So we're just gonna. Now what we do on this side, we always got to do that. So that's Katarina. Yes. And so what we're going to do is what we do on one side, we always have to repeat on the other eye. So let me just go ahead and just put that in like that. Now look how those eyes come to life. Now I can do a portrait on a cake top. You know, we were actually talking about that, Ken. I wonder if there's money in like doing portraits on like cakes for large corporations and, you know, stuff like that, you know? Because I think you can paint with just with dyes, right? With the airbrush, right? And as you can see, just these little strokes really brings her to life, you know? Oh, wow, that's something definitely to look into, that's for sure. You know who is right by me? The cake boss, the guy with the show. Tim could teach someone to do a portrait on the head of a pin. Thanks, Brad. Airbrush food colors. Wow, so they do sell airbrush food colors, Ken. Is that true? Wow, I did not know that. Now that's pretty cool. Oh, that would be fantastic, Ken. No, man, I would love to try that out. Definitely do a video of it and everything. That would be really exciting. Oh, Wendy has them too. That's fantastic. Now the cake boss is here. Actually, he started in Little Ferry. I think he has a location here right in the town where I live in. And so that's pretty exciting. Bake Air is our brand. Oh, wow. That's really cool. That is great to know, Ken. So that's something we all should look into. You know, ability to actually do something like that. You know, the world has to know about that. You know, as far as the bakeries, that artists like us could actually go ahead and just do work like that. Now, Ken, would there be a specific airbrush or any airbrush will do, as far as uh, in your opinion? I mean, I would love to use the Extreme Patriot Arrow for that. Wow, so Ken says more money doing portraits for family events and corporate pets and family members. Wow, that would be fantastic, you know, as far as, getting advertising as, that would be a good stream of income, that's for sure. The Bake Air 4000. Wow, so that's a specific airbrush for the particular uh, food coloring? And I remember, Ken, one time we were talking when we got together that uh, there's so many applications for the airbrush that, we may not know of in our little world of, doing fine art. And so, as you can see, we basically are going to get our Fonz and Porter. And remember, all the items you see here, the airbrush, the inks, the all the materials are in the description field. There's links, and so that's good. So as you can see, just working with that, uh, huge cookie portraits. So many good ideas, I'll tell you. So as you can see, just how we are just bringing her to life. Now, we also have in, now Mike says, Tim, how could you attempt airbrushing on cake icing? Paint the icing before you bake the cake and keep it in the fridge, then apply it when cake is cool. That is all new to me as well. Now, this is very tricky. Now, in her eyebrows, there are little highlights just here and there that's going to give dimension. And that's what we want to seek, where we could add dimension. Same thing on this side. Remember, what you do on this side, you have to do on that side. Remember, Rome wasn't built in a day, so I'm not going to try and do all of the eyes right away. I'm going to continue moving around. Fondant and buttercream. Let's see. Ken says fondant and buttercream take airbrush very well. And Wendy says it goes on icing and fondant, not the actual cake, too textured. Willie says no matter what, we always seem to talk about cake. That's true. It always ends up about cake, Really cool. No, no distraction at all, Ken. This is a definite treat. So we're really happy to have you. This is something that, we all look forward to, this opportunity to speak with you and all your knowledge. So, no, you're definitely not distraction at all. No, thank you for, spending the time with us, and it's just amazing. So, no distraction at all. We always have fun here. We talk about art, but we go off on different tangents and everything. So, thank you so much for, telling us about the world of baking, and airbrushing on, something like that. That's really amazing. It's not something that, a lot of people know about. especially in our world of fine art, right? There's a lot of little lights hitting her lips. And we can go back with our light mixture and make sure that I have the airbrush with the light mixture. Now where you see a highlight, you're going to see a corresponding dark. That's just a rule. Most of the time, a light will have a corresponding dark. And if you keep that in mind, when you paint, everything's going to have a lot of volume because you're sticking with the rule where there's a light, there's a dark. And that's just basically what you want to do when you are at this later stage. Not in the beginning stages. You're working about large areas of form, but now that we are, really further along, we can definitely concentrate on the highlights and the little darks that are next to them. And just those little things really give three dimensions, and that's really important. And like I always say, always move around. Never stay in the same area, right? Always move around because you want to paint the forest and then paint the trees. But if you get stuck in the trees, you are totally going to get lost, and then the forest is not going to be correct. And the big picture is the most important thing when painting a portrait, or anything for that matter, I feel. So we have the light mixture in here, and what we're going to do is continue painting her lips here, but we're not going crazy because we're not trying to create Rome in a day. Just want to build things up slowly and moving around. Now Willie says, hi Ken, just wanted to say I love your product and thanks for keeping it made in the USA. Yes, definitely. That's a very good point. Yes, it's really fantastic to get behind such a company. And so I second that motion, definitely. Now, Mike says, Tim, are you going to add more highlights on the lower lip and let it alone? No, definitely I'm going to add more. But like I said, I'm just going to move around and create wherever I put in lights. I want to make sure I move around and not stick in one particular area. And what that does, it just keeps a sense of your portrait really being unified. You want to create a painting more than just a photorealistic representation. You definitely want to create a work of art, like in the old master sense of the word, right? Wendy says, I'm the lip master. Oh boy, that's kind of a dubious title, huh? That's funny. Now Ken says he agrees with Wendy. Maybe setting on a kitchen table, it'd be another nice light technique project. Light source technique. Wow, look at that. Yeah. There are these little tiny hairs, and look, with the light mixture and the extreme Patriot arrow, I could go in and do those slightest hairs. And that's the beauty of this airbrush, is that you can do large sketchy areas, you know, you don't have to, but then you can come in and do the most tightest detail, which is really fantastic. I always say I go head to head with any other airbrush in this Extreme Patriot Aero. Head to head, no problem. That's a challenge. So, and then just gonna go in with the medium mixture and increase the dark there. Now here, we're just pulling down this dark. Now notice that when I increase the distance, Brad says the Extreme Patriot Aero is an awesome airbrush. Yes, so true. This thing is really a work of art. Oh, Wendy's getting the Extreme Patriot. That's beautiful. Has the larger cup. Same DNA. Everything's the same. So I'm excited. I can't wait to get it. So we are definitely an Extreme Patriot family here. That's for sure. Now Brad owns 2 of them, which is pretty cool, and I think Willie owns 2 of them, and all those things are just really fantastic. Now Ken says if the tool is made right, the result is determined by the hand it is in than the tool itself. Yes, I agree, because you know you definitely want the tool to be secondary, just to work, right? You want it to do what you expect it to do. I agree. Oh, the 2020 Slim. Love that airbrush. That is just really fantastic. A lot of fun with that airbrush over the last year and a half, I'll tell you. It's a little dark right here at the corner of her eye. So you see. So now we are getting her likeness. You see that? We were kind of not getting, can I order Tim's hands? I don't think they're for sale. I need them. They're one of a kind. That's funny. I really love now that it is coming together, that she's starting to have the character of this beautiful woman. And Ken says a good tool facilitates the skill of its holder. That's very profound, Ken. And definitely badgers are amazing. Oh, 2, 3, and 5 as far as the needle sizes. Yes, the large, medium, and the fine detail. Now here's interesting. I don't want to kill my table, although I've already begun to kill my table. I am going to work on this top area. Yeah, no, that's so true. When I found Badger airbrushes, man, it really stepped my game up. Really did. Hey, what's up, William? Good to see you. William has a Renegade Velocity for about 3 years. Wouldn't trade it for anything. Using it daily. Yes. William, you know, as we use your airbrush daily, it's almost like we become an airbrush whisperer, don't we? You know, which is really amazing. Like, I can definitely hear, like, just any little variation, I'll just know. And if, you know, one of my students says, oh, this is happening, I'll know exactly, you know, what to do to, you know, make sure that the airbrush is working, you know, at its optimal level. So you see as I'm moving around, so this is my medium mixture, and then this airbrush has the light mixture. So I went ahead and did the dark, and I came in with the light mixture, and then I could just go ahead and soften that edge. It's all about edges, guys. It's not just value and line, but also edges, which are very important elements to creating a work of art that has that clarity, and just, you know, you just know it looks right. You're not sure what it is, but you just know it looks right. Oh, so Ken says it's bedtime. Thanks for letting him sit in. Oh, Ken, it's been an honor. Thank you so much. On behalf of all of us ink flingers, it's really fantastic to talk to the mind behind these great airbrushes that we love so much. And what a great company. And you know, it's like we were talking about cake. You know, you have great airbrushes and great product, but also great people. So that's the trifecta. So that's why I'm like sold when it comes to Badger and everything Badger. So I really appreciate that, Ken. And thanks for making this live stream extremely special. And we would always be honored if you could come back anytime. So we are still coming with the white pastel. Whatever's facing the light source most directly, that is going to be what gets the highlight. So right at the edge of her lips, you can see that angle. It's really hitting the light almost like head on, and that's why you see these little highlights here. Now, what makes these highlights really stand out is not the light or how light it is, but it's actually what's next to it. So remember, wherever there's a light, there's a corresponding dark. Not necessarily dark in the classic sense, just darker. And so as you can see, look at that, guys. And thanks, Tone. And so just that little bit of value right next to that highlight is going to help that highlight really sing. And that's what we want. We want the painting to sing. One of the expressions of the, you know, when you show your work at a group show, they always say you want your painting to knock all the other paintings off the wall. And that's important. Did you already put the twinkle in her eye? Yes, already. Hey, what's up, Gloria? Good to see you. Gloria's in the house. So cool. Okay, Ken, thank you so much. And maybe we can do an extra live sometime to talk technical instead of technique. Let me know. Yes, definitely. That would be an amazing thing. Just a tech live stream. That would be actually, yes, talk technical about the airbrushes. I would really enjoy that. So that's something we definitely should do. And thank you so much, Ken, for hanging out with us, and just a real treat. So we're just moving around here, as you can see, just pulling up some of these like really beautiful highlights. And that's what is really going to make this painting come together. Remember, we have this little Fons and Porter guy here, and we are just going to look at that, just a little bit right there. Now remember, if your highlight is ever too powerful, and that does happen, then you can just take your kneaded eraser. Now watch what I can do with this kneaded eraser. I can actually turn it into just the slightest thinnest little line here, and I can just tap this just like that. So how cool is that? So you have total control, and that's what you want, you know, in everything that you do. And so this is very, very, very nice at this stage of the game, where things just sort of start coming together. We're going to go back in with our light mixture, and let's go ahead and put a little volume here in her eye, her iris. As Steve Johnson always says, he loves this part, when things just start coming together. Oh, so you got the so you got a better connection now, Wendy. Thank goodness for that. See those little bit of lights as those hairs are catching, her hairs of her eyebrows are catching the light. You got to make sure that you stagger them, otherwise they won't look right. So William says, can't believe Ken was here. Yes, just awesome. Yes, Ken is a rock star. That is so true. I'll tell you, that is definitely the case. So what an honor it was, you know. And what a great moment for the live stream, right? Oh, we had Gerald Mendez a while back ago, so we're getting there, guys. You know, our little group is becoming quite known in the world of Airbrush, which you guys are in the ground floor of this. So right now we're at 2,711 subscribers and growing about 100 a month, which is nice. Yeah, it's true. He loves chocolate cake, definitely. Oh, Gloria says that Catalina looks gorgeous. Thank you, Gloria. I appreciate that. She's starting to come together, right, guys? Little by little. The trick is there's no points for speed, so we'll get there when we get there. And that's what we want to do. We want to make sure, I don't care if it's a part 6, 7, 8, 9, I want you guys to see how I go from beginning to end finishing an artwork. So right here I have the light mixture, and look at this like hairline that I'm going to get. Unbelievable. So that is because of the, we have the MAC valve, and then we have the precision air valve. So those two things really make it. It was in the very beginning, Wendy. That's when I went ahead and did the highlights in her eyes. But I'm definitely going to record it so you can see that later, no problem. Now what we're going to do is, there's little tiny, the tiniest little reflected light that's right here, just above the crease of her eyelid. See that? Just a little bit. We want to create just a little bit of volume. Let me lighten that up a bit. Okay, we're going to zoom in. There we go. And what we're going to do is focus. There we go. Now we focused in. Now we're just going to just do a little bit of volume here. There we go. We want to also look at the edges. Now what's interesting is that the crease is pretty fat here, then it gets pretty thin right here. So we definitely want to represent that, because although it might not look, Wendy loves the close-ups. Thanks, Wendy. I appreciate that. So we definitely want to represent what's happening here. Remember, we're not photorealists here, nor do we pretend to be or want to be, but we definitely have to really get in there. Thank you so much, Gloria. I appreciate that. I love the close-ups, right? That separates us from other live streams. Just the different tools that we have, which is, you know, really great. I love having the 2 airbrush method at the end, because going from light to medium mixture looks pretty photorealistic, Wendy says. Well, that's the thing. We wanna arrive at photorealistic. We wanna have elements of it, but that's definitely not our goal. If that happens, that's cool. If not, that's cool too. We're just not slaves to, you know, doing it exactly, right? That's what we've got to watch out for. So I have the medium mixture, which is great to do these eyelashes. So, you know, I have the precision air valve pretty low. And I'm doing like little tiny dagger strokes. Succession of dagger strokes until I get to the end. See that? Just a little bit. That's Wendy's goal. Well, I want our goal, and that's cool. That's a cool goal to be. I'm not saying it's not, but we just want to make sure that we create paintings that are worthy of museums and that the old masters would, you know, nod their head at. That's my goal. And I always look to Rembrandt, Ingres, and everything like that. And Wendy says I would like to look like a human photocopier. That's funny, Wendy. And then Willie says, Tim, your work looks better than a... Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. You know, we really want to get to that point where, you know, people love our work, yet it still looks like a painting. That's like a tightrope, right? It's not easy, like walking a tightrope. And you know what, Wendy? It's cool. You know, we all have our goals. Your work is fantastic. So definitely I would not discourage that. Okay, so we're going to move to the other eye, and just so you see, like right now it doesn't look, but when I zoom out, you guys are really going to like it. Brad says, I agree with Willie, the portraits have more dimension than a photo. I appreciate it. And that's something that we want to look at. We want to understand the light to the point where we are sort of, you know, walking in a strange land, but with a map, right? So with that map, we're going to know exactly what's around the next turn, and then we could, you know, have a little more personalized trip as to just, you know, copying what we're seeing and just looking at it and copying. You know, if you look at, let's say, a printer and how it doesn't really get any of the character. And that's what we want. We want that character, right? We want that emotion. That's what separates us. Carlton, good to see you. How's everything? Thank you so much. Carlton says it looks beautiful. And that I thank you. Thank you so much. And Carlton, what we're going to do is we're going to switch to the light mixture. And there's some real subtle... Now the light sort of gets caught in this shadow here. And that's... You know, it's like there's a shadow, but light is getting in there, bouncing around. So that's why you have this interesting little half dark, half light sort of area going. So you see you have this little line there. And then it looks like there's a light line over here. And then you just come down like that. Now, how we could even, represent that line even better is yes, have some cake. That's true. Thanks, Wendy. Okay, so as you can see, Wendy is the distributor of the cake. So maybe we'll have a demonstration where we'll work on Badger's cake decorating airbrush paints, food coloring. That would be a lot of fun. That would be a first, I think. Digital cake. So there is more than just the eye, right? Right, everybody? There's a lot more going. So I have my light mixture. And what we want to do is make sure we create the volume. Now, the white of her eye is darker on this side than this side here. So we definitely want to represent that. And, oh, do her cake, definitely, Wendy. That's definitely going to be on the docket, right? And Carlton says, lovely trying to get back into drawing and painting. You are great. Thank you, Carlton. And we're always here for you. If you have any questions or anything like that, always feel free. We always try to inspire one another, especially someone like yourself who is new or coming back into the world of airbrushing. Now, Wendy says he could be a tasty inspiration if he does cake. That's funny. Now, Mike says, Tim, shouldn't the whites of the eyes be brighter? Not at all. Actually, if anything, they're a little bit darker. So let's take a look. See that? I don't think, if you look at the reference, I think it's very close. Now, the whites of the eyes are very, very rarely white, And so that's something to always look. There's a thing called simultaneous contrast. And that is a concept where things look darker or lighter because of what's next to it. Now, if you look at the whites of her eyes, they look lighter because of the darks around it. And that's basically what's happening. So I could advertise on the food channel, hey, anything that would pay the rent, that's what I would, that would be great. Anything that will, pay the bills, of course. And Willie says, Tim, do you have any advice on what to look for when choosing a photo or paint for a beginner? Yes. Excellent question. Okay, so this photo, why did I choose this one? Number one, Michael David Adams is an amazing photographer. And so go on michaeldavidadams.com to check out this amazing photographer. But why is this photo and why it's good for a beginner? Because the lights and darks are very delineated. They have you have your dark, you have your mid-tone and your light. You see that? Your dark, your mid-tone, and your light. Also, you can get as complicated or complex as I am, or you could have simplified this and still come up with a really good painting. So definitely something with good detail, high resolution, and something that is not like hairs that are all curly and everything. Notice the hair is just a couple of dark masses with little bits of lights here and there. So those are things. Make it as easy as possible for you. Brad says, yes, briefly I had a bit of trouble getting his MacBook to put up the photos, but it's an Apple thing and not a fault of projector. Oh yes, Brad got the Venkyo, which is really a fantastic projector. Light mixture in here right now. And what we're going to do is just move around. Now, always ask yourselves, what am I neglecting? You don't want to neglect an area. That's something you don't want to do. Carlton says, I've been looking for a painting channel that favors more mature and serious learning And you're great. Thank you. I appreciate that, Carlton. That's for sure. So, yes, when you're beginning, don't pick a hard picture. Don't pick anything with like crazy hair or, two different light sources. Look for one light source and also look for good lights and darks with really good resolution. Like no smaller than 800 by 600. Okay, and that will really help you. If you guys have any questions, always feel free to, show me either here or you email me, and I'll definitely look at that, and we can assess whether or not it's a good photo that you're going to be embarking on. And so right now, I see that I am kind of neglecting the forehead area. This is really wonderful swath of light here. And great thing about the pastel at the end, I can get rid of some overspray. And I really think there's going to be a part 7 because I don't want to rush it and I want this to be done. And remember, this painting will be on my website. And always attribute, Michael David Adams graciously letting me paint this photo, Brad says, Tim's one-on-one classes are much more involved than the live streams. Wow, thank you. I appreciate that. And yes, the one-on-one is, you're really geared for the student to get control of their airbrush, which is everything. Wendy hates projectors. I love projectors. Now, you just don't want to apply the white, right? Yes, definitely. I do a one-on-one workshop, Carlton, which is really fantastic. It's geared around your schedule and on your level. So, I definitely will bring you up from whatever level you're at. Now, I have a very classical education in drawing and painting before I ever touched the airbrush. So you will get rooted in the fundamentals if you take my course. I've definitely enjoy it, and I have a love for teaching. So definitely, if you go on paintedglyphs.com, there's information, but you can always email me, Timothy, at actually paintedglyphs@gmail.com. Brad says, Tim has gone way above and beyond the call of duty to help me learn. Thank you. Well, you're a very good teacher, that's for sure. A very good student, that's for sure, I meant to say. I appreciate that. Now, this Fons and Porter is really fantastic. Now, none of the tools of using pastel and this or the eraser would matter if we didn't have the... yes, and the great thing, Carlton, is that you're at your home and I'm at my home. We're doing it through Skype, so you don't have to come to my location. I don't have to go to your location. It's in the comfort of your own home. So definitely, and it's 18 hours of education. 18 hours. That's like really intense, and so that's really cool. So definitely look into that, and I do have some slots opening up, so that would be great. And it comes with a free set of my ink mixtures. So we're working with the same materials, and really, you're going to walk away from that class having control and really loving your airbrush. And to me, that's like really what I want. Is I want you guys to love your airbrush and just really love creating again. And that's my motivation. So you see, it's also when you're painting things such as eyebrows and hair, is the negative shapes are just as important. And Oh, so Wendy says, love in Texas and you won't need a heater. That's funny. Oh, great. Thanks, Carlton. And any questions, you let me know. And you can love in Texas too, Wendy. That's what Willie says, which is very cool. So it's not just painting the light, but all the little reflected lights. You see right here, there's these little reflected lights going on. Now remember, if that light is too powerful, you can always take your kneaded eraser and you can just tap that and bring that back in line, going back to the light mixture. Let's give this the under part of her eye. Let's give some volume to that. So you see, it's not just her eyes and not just shadow, light, shadow, but there's some reflected light that gives that glow, which is really fantastic. Brad says he has to play with pixels a bit and on the source photos and get a bit tech savvy. Yeah, that comes with practice, you know, definitely. I am going to need a cup of coffee in a little bit. I know that. So I am a full-time painter, and so if you do take my classes, I work around your schedule. Unless something out of the ordinary comes up, that would be it. But I have a new student coming up from the UK. I think we'll be starting on Saturday, which is great. So even from different time zones, you know, like I said, I work around your schedule. I don't want you to, you know, have to, 4 o'clock in the morning your time, nothing like that. Like I said, we work around your schedule. Coffee is so important. Too important to me, I guess. So what a great day. We had the head of the CEO of Badger here tonight. How great was that, guys? Where do you see that? What live streams do you have that going on? Our little group here had the head of Badger talk to us and just join us and answer questions and just hang out with us. How cool is that for a live stream? Now, Wendy and Willie were with me from the very beginning when I was doing my live streams a couple of years ago, and nobody was there, right? Sometimes, it was just so fantastic. Now, Carlton says, how much is a Skype account going for? You want to know? You're going to love this. Skype is absolutely free. The calls are free. The video is free. Everything is free. It's amazing. And that's when I will help you discover Skype. And once you do, you'll be Skyping people all over the place. Not just me, but it's just a wonderful resource. And it's totally free. It comes with comes with Windows. You can download it if you're a Mac user. And the thing is, you'll see what you're seeing now exactly, and I'll be watching you paint, and we'll be painting together. And I also use different programs like Critter and everything, and that's so important. Yes. And it will be extremely inexpensive. Now, $300, $299 gets you the 18 hours and a free set of ink mixtures. So that's incredible for 18 hours. So I will be raising those prices pretty soon, but I wanted to, really help out a large group of people in the beginning, So as you can see, she's really getting some really, really nice detail. Let's go back to her lips. Remember where we say we got to move around, move around. Is it hard to set up the camera? Not at all. We have people using their iPad with great efficiency. Brad uses his iPad, and the camera on that works perfectly. Uh, and also, you could, Wendy has a Logitech camera, and the Logitech cameras are really cool. And let me see if I can show you a Logitech camera. They're like $50, but you don't have to. You know, your iPad would work. Everyone has an iPad. So I'm going to show you with this particular. So right there is a Logitech camera, and that is only $49, maybe $59, and it's just great. And of course, you take photos of your work with your phone, and then we go over it, and I do corrections with you. So it's just, and I'm really perfecting the whole teaching technique, and I really feel that it offers, the one-on-one really offers something that is really kind of like a once in a lifetime, because I can't afford to do this this inexpensive for too long. But definitely is a lot lower in price than the industry standard. And I really feel I'm giving something with all my New York City art education, all those years of learning classically, really just teach you how to see, not just teach you airbrush tricks or whatever, but really teach you how to see as an artist, to really help you visualize, how to work. Yes, I use Krita to help see what you're doing is wrong, exactly, and I love Krita. And so this program that I have, you don't have to get a webcam. If you have an iPad, you're good. But if not, if you have a laptop, that little camera will work okay, no problem. What's more important is that you see what I'm doing, and then you can take a photo of your work, and then you can send it to me live, and then I put it up on. Let me show you an example. I'm gonna show you some of the things that I do with, if you don't mind. Let me see. Where is Krita? Nope, right there. Okay, so there's Krita. So I'm gonna open up Krita. And as I open up Krita, I'm going to show you how I would work on, if I may show Brad's, let me pull up. So this is Brad's project. And how I would work. So Brad would send me, so this is something that we're working on together. And so what I would do is he would send me the photo as here, and let's say I wanted to fix something. Like, let's say if I wanted to fix, let's say, some highlights, right? And what I would do is I would show him live as he's watching me. And I would say, hey, Brad, so what I want you to do is I want you to add a little highlight right here in the eye. See that? And then I can blow it up and show him exactly where the adjustment needs to be. So that's pretty cool. So it's sort of, and then I could go ahead and go back and just show, well, let me go back here. Oh, let's see. Nope, that's not it. Where's the Krita? Okay, so here's Krita here, and it should come up. It usually does come up. Anyway, it's a little more difficult showing you on the live stream, but trust me, it's very transparent. Okay, there it is. Okay, cool. So it took a while for me to get that going. So let's say, we were talking about getting into, let's say, the highlight, right? So I would say, hey, I want a little highlight over here, Brad. and I would just tell him, just do it like that, and maybe a little bit of light right there, and then I could blow it up. Or I could say, hey, I want you to make the crease in the crease between the upper and lower lip a little darker. So I could show him. And I could blow this up. So what I could do is I could show the student what I need darker, and then I could go, okay, you see that? Gave a little bit of volume, and then I can come back and show exactly how to do it with the airbrush. So it really is a great teaching method, and it's something that I evolved over the time. So definitely something fantastic. Heath, how's it going? Good to see you. So someone said about the Huion. How much is that Intuos? Actually, it's a Huion, and it's only like $60, and it's really fantastic. I really love it. So it is. It's a Huion 1610P, and it's $60, and it's really works wonders for me. So were you guys able to see that correctly? Not at first, but towards the end, you were able to see everything. Yes, definitely. You have to get one. I use it all the time for doing digital art and everything. So digital art and for my classes. Like I said, I will be raising those prices in a couple of months for the class. So definitely take advantage while you can, because I can't continue giving them at that price for long. Mike says, how do I grade my students' portrait work? Do you use facial recognition software? No, man, just amazed at what you can see, what you can learn, and everyone has always amazed me so far. Yes, you do get punished, Wendy. No punishment. You guys always do well. So I have the light mixture, and I just want to make sure that I'm turning the her cheek here. Interesting how right here it gets a little hard edged, just a little bit right here. I want you to really see the difference of when it's harder edged and soft. Gloria! Mr. Carey has a paper problem. Hey, Todd, thanks so much for coming by, man. It's good to see you. Now, remember, we had a little bit of a harder edge right here. Just a little bit. Right there, it's a little harder edge. If we can actually see that and represent that hard edge, it's really going to lead to some really nice volume and realism. So you definitely want to move around, guys. You definitely want to make sure that you are really getting the sense of the ensemble, not just, doing an eye and nose, mouth and ears and putting them all together. Will you be doing any live streams on how to paint darker skin tones? Definitely. I would see that in the future, definitely. Colton, that's true. And Mike says, I still have not heard back from DNA Trident Paints on their concentrated reducer. Yeah, definitely, get back to them, Definitely, if you haven't heard, write them again. That's what I do. And that's what we want to do here is we want to really just look how beautiful when we really get in there with her lips there. Let's go ahead and let's see if we can zoom in, huh? Show you some of this live stream magic here. Our live streams do this. I don't see too many live streams really just doing some great special effects like this. And you notice what you want to do, and this is something I tell my students, definitely battle against any kind of uniformity in your painting. Make sure that everything is organic, meaning that things are irregular as they are in nature. So Wendy, what did you ask Kansan about? Maybe I could ask that question for you. Now, it's a little brighter on this side, and then the highlights get a little softer and a little darker. Right here, just really is bright and then soft here, like that. Okay, so once we go ahead and do that, now what we can do is really pay attention to what's happening next to it. I have my light mixture, and I'm really getting in there. See, it's not so much the value, but what's adjacent to that value, especially the highlights, which is really going to pop that out. Now, when I pull back, that's when things are really going to look just beautiful. How long does it usually take to finish a painting? For me, anywhere between, with this technique, I would say anywhere between 10 and 15 hours from beginning concept to end. Now there are some little dots here. Let's see. About 6 lessons? Oh yeah, about 6 live streams, definitely. And lessons, I would say, it varies on the level of the student, and and that's okay. There's no rush. I don't push the student further than they need to be, or they would be frustrated. But as far as my personal work, I can pretty much get through one within an afternoon. So if we zoom out, let's see how this looks. Wow, see that? So we really are starting to get some nice volume here. And perfect lips, thank you. I appreciate that. I definitely appreciate that. Thank you, Gloria. So what we want to do is, it's a little bit lighter on this side of her, on the top side of her upper lip there. And remember, we're not trying to nail this all at once. We're just working this out slowly, as we work everything out slowly. We're not going to work it out and move on. Okay, lips are done, now the chin. No, it's all a work in progress. Now the bottom part of her lip here, of her lower lip, is darker. So we're just going to dust with this light mixture. Tim is the lip master. That would have been a good, yeah, that's a very, sounds like a really cool cool nickname. I wish I had that nickname in high school. But alas, I was a nerd in high school. Brad, how's it going? Good to see you. So glad. Is acrylic painting tough? No, no, it's not. It's all the fundamentals. You know, I remember when I went to the High School of Art and Design and started classically being trained as an artist at 15 years old. And I went after that to Long Island University, and then I went to the Art Students League in New York, and then the National Academy School of Fine Arts. And one of the questions I had was, if I learn one medium, will I be able to learn other mediums faster? And he said resoundingly yes. Once you learn one medium and the fundamentals of light and dark, the other mediums will fall in place. You'll have to learn individual techniques and little idiosyncrasies of different mediums, but it's very important to realize that it's all about fundamentals. So, you know, working with acrylic or watercolor, once you learn how to paint and see, it really is personal preference as to what medium you pick. So that's good. Brad says it's looking beautiful. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. You know, thank you. And so Brad is also an artist who uses the Extreme Patriot Arrow. Or you have, I don't think you have the Arrow, right? You have the 105 Patriot, the Extreme, with the larger cup. Is that correct, Brad? So I'm going to be doing some paintings, actually some tutorials on my Tim's 2-Minute Tech Tuesday. I'm going to try and be regular with that. But my Patreon members are going to see the videos a lot sooner, and I'm going to do some instructional videos just for my Patreon members. And that's only for only like $4.99, and you'll get videos and instruction that you don't normally get. Carlton says, do you ever win the Salmagundi Club? Interesting. Do I ever win the Salmagundi Club? Yes, I have won about, oh my God, I would say about 10 awards from the Salmagundi Club. Yeah, a lot of my paintings have. I just exhibited at the Salmagundi Club a couple of months ago. And yeah, so that's a great location. Yeah, great organization on 5th Avenue, I think between 12th and 13th Street. So that's cool. Yes, so you have the Arrow and the Sotar Slim. That's the best 1-2 combination out there. So that's pretty cool. So look, we're at 10:48, which is pretty cool. And we're just going to continue moving around. Now what I'm going to do, actually it's the Salmagundi Club. So it's actually Salmagundi. It got it correct. So Salmagundy, which I believe means some sort of stew, which I think in the 1800s a bunch of artists got together and wanted to have a how do you say, like an art organization where they could express themselves and have similar philosophies. So yeah, I exhibited there. I still exhibit there at least once a year, and so that's pretty neat. So what I'm gonna do, and you guys, I want you to time me. So I'm gonna make a cup of coffee, and let's see how long it takes me to make a cup of coffee, okay? This is probably the best part of the live stream. So here we go. Now, okay, going to make coffee. what do you think? I actually am back and I finished coffee. So how amazing is that? And bam, see that? And it really is coffee. I really went ahead and got coffee, which is amazing. See that? So how long was that? A couple of minutes? Wendy says, how do you live? Yeah, a lot of people have those same sentiments, that's for sure, when it comes to coffee. 2 minutes. Wow, that's really good. And I put hazelnut coffee in there. Not bad, right? So, what I also do daily is I make green juice, you know. Oh, John says, do I varnish your ink portraits? Never. Good question, but I just frame them under glass with a mat, and they are perfect. And that's very true. So that's milk. Actually, that is hazelnut creamer, which is pretty cool. And so, yeah, so basically if you varnish this, it probably would be a disaster. You know, I definitely, because we work on paper. I do work on wood too, so yeah, but I don't know how it would work. That would be something that would be a good test, you know? Definitely. Definitely a good test, guys. So, all right, so we're going back, and so actually what we can do is smooth out some of these areas here. There's a little more light going on right here. So how do you get skin texture? By using skin texture. Here's a quiz. Do you get skin texture by using stencils? What's the best way to get skin texture in the long run as an artist? Chocolate caramel, that sounds fantastic. Hey, when I was a kid, I had candy and milkshakes, and as an adult, I have coffee. So, Carlton, where are you from? You know New York City with the Salmagundi Club. Are you from the tri-state area? Because that's where I'm from. So right here, there's just a little bit of light here. We're just going to just tap on that. Just get that little bit of light on the edge of her lips, you know? Spray into a dryer sheet. That's an interesting, I've heard that, yes. That's an interesting technique, definitely. Thanks for that, Willie. Yeah, you know, I know Excedrin PM, no, Excedrin migraine actually has some caffeine in it. But, you know, there's, you know, whatever works, you know. What I do is, yes, definitely Badger. Actually, doesn't have an airbrush. Definitely get yourself an Extreme Patriot Arrow, as Wendy is saying with the Badger. It's less than $100, and it's very reliable. And what's more important is the parts are inexpensive. Like if you have to get a new needle, or you want to change the configuration from detail to a larger nozzle needle set, you can do that, you know. But definitely, now you can see we are starting to get her likeness. At first, you never want to worry about likeness in the early going. That's something that the likeness happens, but it only happens when everything is coming together, right? Yes, we just had Carlton, the CEO of Badger, come and say hello to us. This is definitely. Badger is definitely a friend to this channel, and we just love their products and the company as a whole. Yes, that's true. I was victim to the dropping of the nozzle, right? That was, we had the same. I sold all my Iwatas, and that goes to show you, you know. And let's just really love this stage, guys. Just as you can see, I can really make her lips sort of become three-dimensional. You can almost kiss her lips. I'm gonna put a little more pastel here. Right here. Remember, what is facing the light is going to be the most white. So remember that. Raul, how's it going? Good to see you. All right. Always good to see Raul. So I'm glad you can make it, my friend. So you see how we just do that little bit of light there? And right here, look at this. There's this little edge of light that's just hitting this top part of her lip there, just like that. See how that just really just brings her lip into focus? Just that little bit. Now watch how that little bit of that little, look at that little nothing of nothing, all of a sudden just brings it together, right? Unbelievable. So, but you know, you're looking for the lightness at the end, not in the beginning, right? You're looking for it at the end. When everything else, see, that little bit of light would mean nothing if everything else, all the big shapes were wrong, right? The beauty happens when everything, all the big shapes are on the money. So remember that. Worry about the big shapes and the small shapes will fall into place. Raul says he had to replace a burnt out monitor so he could see us. Oh man, so yeah, you know, I go through monitors a lot. I kill computers because I work them to death, you know, so I definitely feel your pain, Raul, that's for sure. So this has been so far a pretty cool live stream. They're all cool, but this one was so cool so far. See that? Now we're moving around, right? We're not just staying and working on the eye and bringing it together and just saying, okay, the eye's done, I'm going to move to the nose. The eye's done, I'm going to move to the ear. No, we're moving around. We're trying to get a sense of her coming into focus all at once. Remember, what's facing the light source is what, not sauce like tomato sauce, sauce. So, excuse my New York accent, but this part of her chin is up, turning towards the light, and it is going to be catching that light because it's facing it. It's facing that light. As the chin turns, it moves away from the light. Am I right? Saucy. Saucy Susan. I think someone out there knows what that means. I don't know if they're still out there. Carlton says, I'm just trying to take in all of this knowledge. You know, what's great, Carlton, subscribe if you can to this, and I have over 200 videos, all kinds of information on this channel, so go ahead and subscribe. And also this video, and also the parts 1 through 5 as parts, and part 6, which is tonight, is on this channel, so you could watch it over and over again. So that's fantastic. Isn't it beautiful how we can just really get a sense of her by really understanding the light? Remember, guys, we're painting light, right? Primarily, that's what we're seeing is the light. I was saying earlier, one of the things I do is I vegetable juice. And I may do that on one of my live streams. Just show you how I vegetable juice. That might be fun. We're about information and fun. That's what we're about. Too late, already done a week. Great, Carlton. Thank you. That's an honor. Thank you for taking the time to look at my videos. I really appreciate that. We also have a Facebook group called Ink Flingers, which is really cool. Now, you just go on Facebook and you type in groups, or just type in Ink Flingers and just ask to join, and either I or Wendy will go ahead and approve you. And we talk about ink and airbrush and just other things, which is really cool. And yes, definitely, that would be very cool. Juice and painting. Raul says that he was in the dumps, but blessed by an angel who gifted me Ben Q32. What is Ben Q32? That sounds pretty interesting. So you've been binge watching. Oh, so great. Thank you. So I appreciate that. Thank you so much for saying that, and I'm glad that they were helpful. Okay, so you see how the light is really important. Once we understand that we're painting light, then things sort of really start coming together. Now what we can do is we can see where else is the light really facing, what other areas are facing the light source, right? So I would say right here, this part of her ear is really facing the light directly. So you see how when we understand that, whatever is facing the light, that is what is going to get the most brightest, lightest value, And Brad says, Cortland Extreme Patriot Arrow Airbrush, Canson Pebble Gray, 184 pound color line paper, and the ink mixtures. That's it, definitely. Then you are definitely ready to start, and I appreciate that, Brad. Thank you. Giving Carlton that information. See, everyone's so helpful here, so that's really great. BenQ is a monitor manufacturer that makes color accurate monitors for graphic. Oh, that's great. So someone helped you out with that. Well, whoever they were, thank you. That's really great. Thank you that there are beautiful people out there. Just help out, when we need it. Makes a big difference in life. Makes life worth living. So you see how, she's coming together, and we're really feeling Katarina right now. That coffee really hit the spot. That was a very well used 2 minutes. Let's put some specular highlights here. Some areas of her lips are getting some real powerful specks of light there. There we go. What happened to the cat? Oh, she's in the other room sleeping. Thanks for asking. Yeah, she would come here and knock all the inks down and everything. So she'll make a special appearance pretty soon. And Raul says he's not worthy, but I get to see you guys tonight, so I'm really happy. No, that's so great, And we're happy that we get to see you, So thank you so much for that person who helped you out. We get to see you, Especially since this is the favorite part of my work. so people love when the white pastel comes, right? And so I appreciate that, Raul. Thanks for your encouragement. See how we're just worrying about when do you get, what do you get when you join the Patreon page? Well, you do get the Tim's 2 Minute Tech Tuesday early, and also I'm putting on, there are some videos that aren't available on the regular YouTube page, and also I'm going to start doing long tutorials that are just for Patreon members. So, and for $4.99 you get all that, and plus, you know, if you're a Patreon member, I give you a little bit more attention if you're working on something. I can give you critiques and stuff like that. So, Patreons get a lot more attention. So that's really cool. So definitely think about doing that. You know, and my Patreons, they really help me out. And you know, and if you can become a Patreon, and that just really just makes it easier for me to create these, you know, relieve some of the financial stress. Like I said, being a heart of, you know, I'm not crying or anything like that, but being a full-time artist is really rough. Oh, any information that you need, Carlton, you let us know. We're definitely here for you. Wendy says, yay, Patreon. Yes. Very true. So you see how we went ahead and just did a little bit of light in her ear, because that ear is facing the light, so that's so important to capture that. So where else can we go ahead and put more light? Well, remember, whatever's facing the light source is coming from above and just slightly to the left. And right here, it looks like the ridge, the orbital ridge, just above her eyebrows is catching some light because it's facing the light source. Not as directly as the ear, but still it's catching some. So there's going to be a difference in value there. Wendy says, Bradley, that is the blending stump with pastel from sandpaper, but it was the cream and teal, that's the fabric pen. Yes, the Fons and Porter fabric pen. So thank you, Wendy, for that info. Yes, that is. I just saw that question, so thank you, Wendy, for answering it. Sorry about that. Sometimes when I get really engrossed, I kind of... okay, so we were talking about different ways that people can get skin texture. So my answer was you get skin texture by paying attention to the edges of value. So as you see here, it's a little sharper edge here, and then it's like real fuzzy over here. Those little differences of value, that's what's really going to make a difference as far as getting that skin texture, is really paying attention to the edge work. Not only value and drawing, but the edges are really important to get that skin texture as well. Okay, so right here we have a little bit of light on her nostril on the edge. What that's going to do is that's just going to push that nostril a little further from the back, from her cheek, because the nostril's coming closer. However, let's say, like in this case, I went ahead and overdid it a little bit. It's kind of out of balance. So remember, I can take the kneaded eraser and I could make like a chisel point, and I can tap it. And watch as you tap. It gets progressively lighter, progressively weaker each time you tap. So I can lower that value little at a time until I get the value I'm looking for. So you see how we can definitely gradually get that. We don't have to, you know, one of the things in my technique, you don't have to get the exact value, you know, find the value with the square and then, you know, keep spraying until you get that value. No, we arrive at the value. We don't try and get that value right off the bat. To me, that's the wrong way to paint because you're not arriving at the correct value, but you're trying to paint values and not, you know, get the ensemble. So there are slight modulations going on. And do I have any good advice for resources of learning Krita? Yes. Krita's a fantastic free software, and there are a lot of, I just go on YouTube, and so if you email me, I'll definitely send you some really good links on Krita. Also, with Krita, you can do basic painting techniques. Tim's a Krita master. No, I'm getting there, Wendy. Thank you. Let me see if I could find a Krita painting that I can show you guys. Add source. Let's see. So I am going to look for a Krita painting. So if I go to documents or downloads. Okay, so I definitely have one to show you guys. So let's see. So add source. We'll go to media and let's go to downloads, digital reference. And so this is something that I've been working on in Krita. And as you can see, I'm working very similar in the way that I work with Airbrush. And you could use Airbrush techniques, and you could use filters and all kinds of really cool things. And as you can see, it's very easy to emulate what you're doing. And I actually go further that you become a better airbrush artist by working in Krita, and you become a better digital artist by working in Airbrush. So definitely something that you definitely want to email me, and I can definitely point you to some really good videos and resources on YouTube. Thank you so much, Wendy. So my email address is paintedglyphs@gmail.com, and let's see if I could text that out for you. And I'm going to put that up here in just one quick sec. Here we go. This program I have, which is XSplit, which is really fantastic. So I'm typing in paintedglyphs@gmail.com. And let's go ahead and put some okay, so here we are, and let's make this smaller so you can see it. There we go. Okay. There we go. Paintedglyphs@gmail.com. So hopefully that not .sim, but .com. So let's go ahead and fix that. There we go. So I hope that's helpful. There we go. There we go. So that's paintedglyphs@gmail.com. All right, so let's so hopefully that's helpful, and let me remove that. And thank you, Wendy, for that. I appreciate that. So let's go back to working on some of the darker values in her forehead. At this point, you want to pump the trigger because of the skin texture. Skin is not smooth like a robot, so there's going to be, it's going to be a little rough. It's going to have light and darks within each value. Carlton says he's never seen anyone using Critter to do this type of work. This looks so delicious. Tim, thank you, my friend. Definitely email me, and I'm going to tell you some of my secrets. And like you said, it's easy. Once you learn a couple of the keyboard shortcuts, and then learn that, and then just paint on that, and then learn all the really technical stuff. But learning maybe 10 keyboard shortcuts and commit that to memory, and you're as good to go. So I'm really enjoying painting Katarina with you guys. So now what we want to do is we want to continue working and make sure we don't neglect any area. So I think we need to work a little bit on her shoulder. So you see how we are making her shoulder turn by paying attention to the shapes within the shapes, and I'm pumping that trigger back and forth, Oh, Wendy says she likes what the Frisket did. Yeah, the Frisket was a lot of fun, and it really got those beautiful hard edges, right? Like over here and over here. Especially this edge right here. Really. Yes, there'll definitely be a part 7. Only because I want to take it further. And Willie, I want to make sure that I teach you guys in this series what I do to get to the point where I'm like, okay, it's over. We're going to go. So next week we'll definitely announce the winner of the ink mixtures. So this was a special week because of Ken was here. So I didn't want to, go ahead and do everything at once there. And so yeah, it's going to be a part 7, which is so cool. So that's like 14 hours, Carlton, this painting's going to be done because I didn't do anything outside of the live stream. So this whole painting was basically done live and filmed live. Filmed in front of a live television audience. We should have like laugh tracks, right? Like those old shows like the Brady Bunch or the Odd Couple, canned laughter. That would be funny. This way I would seem a lot more humorous, right? Okay, so I'm going to use my freehand shield here, and I'm going to protect this shoulder. And so what I want you to see is that there's these little dark edges here. It's just a little bit darker there, a little bit darker there. Tim, is it too late to get into that? No, Bradley, you're in. So definitely I'm going to put you in there. So yeah, it's going to be a nice group. So definitely next week we'll definitely announce it. I might do a special video announcing it, but if you win, I'll contact you. So you see how I went ahead and did that little dark? Now I have the light mixture. Let's go with the medium mixture. Get that little bit of dark right there. See that? Just see how that little things. Can your cat pick the winner? If the cat picked the winner, we wouldn't be doing these live streams anymore. We'll be doing cat live streams and making a lot of money. And what we're going to do is we're going to work on this hard edge here. Perpendicular and not parallel, right guys? Isn't that the best? So you guys have been with me a while. You know my timisms: perpendicular, not parallel. Light is right. One second rule. You guys know all that. I'll be holding tuna to my screen, Wendy says. That's your kitty, right? That's cool. You have a cute cat, Wendy. Oh, cats love you, Bradley. Yeah, me too. I have an affinity for cats, you know. I think that's a good sign. Cats are good judges of character. Oh, your cat is Gracie. That's right. Yes. Oh, for the cat to choose you. Oh, I see. Now I get it, Wendy. I'm a little slow at 11:22 at night, you know? Sorry about that. But that's a good idea. Hey, that would be fixing the election. I really like the way the lips are turning out, just slowly, right? You know, there's no rush. How long will you be accepting students? Right now till further notice, my friend. So, you know, you let me know, Carlton. No pressure sales here. So when you're ready, you know, don't worry. You know, because it's a commitment, you know, but then again, it's a commitment that is around your schedule, which is great. And also very inexpensive. I have that medium mixture, and so I really think that she's coming out pretty nice so far. You know, start out with a beautiful model, a beautiful photograph, the work of Michael David Adams. Check out michaeldavidadams.com, guys. His photography is amazing. If you need any portrait photography, he's definitely your guy. I saw this picture on the internet. I just had to paint it, and I contacted him, and he was so cool. He was like, "Sure, I can't wait to see what you do with it." That was just wild, and what a great experience that was. You see how I put that hard edge there? You know, just at the edge. Watch this, I'm going to do it again. See how it is right now? It looks good, but watch this. I'm just going to with the medium mixture. Perpendicular and not parallel. Watch this. Bam, it just really brings out those eyes just a little bit more. What if the model stopped in to say hi? I would definitely say hello back. I would love it if she stopped by. What an honor that would be, right? I mean, she is definitely amused, right? Look at this. She's amazing. So if she's out there, I would love to see her. Will you be sending him a picture to see it? Oh yes, he's definitely wants to see it. He's seen the progress so far. He said it looked pretty good. So I mean, he was happy with it. So if I can make the photographer happy and hopefully the model happy, that would be a couple of feathers in my cap, and that's what I hope for. But mostly I want to make me happy, right? We're the artists, but if we can make other people happy, that's like amazing. So look how far we've gotten so far, guys. This is the medium mixture. So let's go back with the light mixture. And let's see, where can we come in with this light mixture here? Okay, so let's move into the shoulder. Oh, thank you. Oh, so you're going to come to my house? Anytime, Willie, that's for sure. That would be cool. That would be neat. So that's so cool. And one of these days we got to have a road trip where we meet together. That would be like a get together of the group. Wouldn't that be amazing one day? When we all go to Badger in Chicago. Wouldn't that be cool? Now, since we have to, now this is what I do with the white pastel. So let me show you. So I have this little piece of sandpaper, my pastel pencil, and I just deposit some pastel there. And then I just rub it in. So we're going to be here until 11:30. I always give you guys the full 2 hours because you guys are worth it. And that's why I don't skimp on you guys, because I love spending Wednesday nights with you guys. I even did Christmas Day and New Year's Day this year. Now either I'm really dedicated or my priorities are askew. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm dedicated to you guys. So as you can see, look how it's looking, how she's looking here, right? So Carlton says, why is it so difficult to paint in acrylic? Can you show your critter work at the end of this stream? I missed some of it, if you don't mind. Okay, sure, definitely. I'll show that one picture. I think I have a second one, but I'll be happy to. Art doesn't take holidays. That is so true. Willie says it's almost time. Good night, everyone. Good night, Willie. Always great to see you. And so there's going to be a part 7, so looking forward to that. And so always great to see you, Willie. So we have 2 more minutes, and then at the end I'll go ahead and I'll show you that one picture again. Carlton, it'd be my pleasure. Now you see how we are definitely making her skin texture as we're just paying attention to how the values sort of buttress up against each other. You know, what are those edges, the adjacent edges, how are they? Wendy, have a great night and thank you always. And I appreciate that. And thank you, Tone and Carlton, that's so great. And I appreciate it. And Mike, take care. Always good to see you, Mike. And we are at 11:29. Look at that, guys, 11:29. Another one in the books. We did it. Hey, Bradley, see you tomorrow night at the class, so on Skype. So always good to see you, my friend. John, have a great night. Always good to see you, sir. So we are so close, and thank you, Wendy. I appreciate that. So let's go ahead and see if we can find, let's see, where is, oh, here we go. So right here. So this is the one I'm working on right now. And you can see, Carlton, you know, how you can develop it just as you can develop any kind of work, you know. Bradley, have a good night, everybody. It's 11:30. So go ahead and send me an email. Join my Patreon if you haven't already. And so far, this is where we have gotten. So it's been a great time hanging out with you, and I really hope to see you next Wednesday. And don't forget, on Tuesday, Tim's 2-Minute Tech Tuesday. Patreon members get to see the video probably around Saturday or something like that. So I hope you have a great week, guys. Take care of yourself.